He's like, well, do you think you can fix a pool heater? I'm like, I'm willing to give it a shot. I
Sure.
mean, you got the book there. So he went outside and come back in, and I was back sweeping the floor. And he's like, well, aren't you going to look at it? I said, well, I'm done. It's up and running.
Well, hello again. Brad Duncan here with Raypak. I'm National Pool Product Trainer. And this is the Pool Time Podcast. We're talking today with a friend from Indiana. Why don't you introduce yourself to the folks?
My name's Erick Curran with Spear Corporation.
Spear, okay. And you guys do primarily commercial stuff, yeah?
We strictly commercial, yes.
Okay, all right. So when we say commercial, you're talking about everything north of 400,000 BTUs.
Yeah, basically, yeah, pretty much like water parks, universities, things like that, splash pads.
Right. So now most of it, the people that we deal with and the folks that watch this are really probably geared a little bit more toward the residential side, so they're accustomed to something closer to 400,000 and below. So there's a pretty substantial difference, wouldn't you say?
There is, yes. It's size, internal parts. There is a big difference between the two in complexity, and yeah, it's like almost like a car. You can buy stripped down base model or the loaded model with all the options.
Only in this case, the loaded model would be closer to a dump truck or
A
some
dump truck, yes.
huge thing. We're talking about some of these products. For those of you that have not dealt a lot with commercial sized swimming pool heaters, you're 400,000 BTU of VIA. That's a nice little unit, puts out heat pretty good. We're talking about devices that put up 1.5 and 2 million
Yeah, 2 million.
BTUs, and that's not uncommon. And so you have a heater, whereas even a large heater in the residential market might be the size of a dishwasher. These commercial models might be the size of your closet. So they're very big and far more complicated. I've always told the commercial guys, if they can work on commercial, working on the little residential models is like child's play.
Right. Yeah. It'll fire up in like 4 stages. So it's it's all about timing and interlocking.
And so we have to have, on certain products, we have to fire in stages so that we don't pull all the gas off the line at
Exactly.
once. So then you lose all your gas pressure all at once. And so then you have there's other things that have to be met by boiler code simply based on the size of it. What are we talking about there?
Oh, we got air draft we got to watch. We got like I said, gassing we got to pay attention to.
So by gassing, you're talking about like checking the exhaust with a flue gas analyzer, things like that.
Yep, things like that. Yeah, using the manometer, make sure all the pressures are there. Make sure all draft is there. Like I say, to be sure to avoid for proper burning and soot, make sure you don't cause soot.
Right. Now, a lot of the larger units are a little bit more complicated when it comes to things like the electronics, setting dip switches and various types of ignition systems. Now, you were telling me off camera that you actually your training is in electronics. Is that correct?
Actually, yes. My degree is actually in electronic technology from the part of the University of Arkansas.
Go Hogs.
Go Hogs.
Okay.
I grew up in Oklahoma, but all right, that's fine. Gonna get me kicked out now,
Oh,
but
no.
whatever.
All right.
Yeah.
Take it back.
But yeah, some degree is in electronic technology. So yeah, there is some pretty good electronics in there. It's very, people think of swimming pools and stuff nowadays, and they think you just walk in and flip a switch, but it's not that way. They're so complicated and complex nowadays. It's like 5 or 6 different computers all running and got to interlock and talk to each other, and they're all safeguarded and safe netted against each other. And it's the same way with the heaters. It's got all the interlocks on it and all the safeties, and it has to be able to talk to everything, and they all have to handshake nowadays and work together for safety reasons.
So now, what I take from that is when I hear, okay, background in electronics lends itself really well to this type of equipment.
Yes.
But there does seem to be a little bit of a gap between electronics and giant swimming pool heaters. How did you jump that gap? How do you make that trip?
Well, actually, I was working for a different company, Fuji, as an electronic technician, and they were closing down and moving out of town. And the owner of the pool company's sister actually worked with me. And she's like, she come up to me literally 5 minutes after they announced that they were closing and said, well, I hope you don't mind. And I'm like, mind what? She goes, well, I just called my brother and told him he needed to be sure and call you before you go to work somewhere else. And I'm like, I don't even know who your brother is or what he does, but okay.
Okay.
She goes, well, he works on swimming pools. And I'm like, all right. So, yeah. So they interviewed me. I guess I was interviewing for a warehouse position. And he had me go out and take a break for a minute and come back in. And he goes, you're not a warehouse guy. And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing here, actually. Your sister asked me to come, so I'm here. It's like, And so he created a job for me for being an on-the-road field tech for him to work on the swimming pool equipment for him. And 16 years ago, and here I am still.
How about that?
Yeah.
And do you find that your background does in fact lend itself well to the type of work that you do?
It actually does, because my background, like I said, my main degree is in electronics with a certificate for industrial electronic and electrical maintenance. So, yeah, it all actually lends real well, and I've picked up a lot of knowledge on interlocking and relays and communication between stuff. And so, yeah, and I find it to be a really good career to go into because you learn so much skill sets that you can take home, just by working on, let alone heaters and stuff and boilers stuff, It's like, because once you own your own home and become your own repair guy at home, you've got to have a multitude of skill sets. So I'm picked up a lot of plumbing, a lot of electrical, a lot of just straight troubleshooting. Yes.
Now, do you remember the first time you had to repair something that was clearly a dedicated piece of swimming pool equipment and it worked? What did that feel like?
It was good. The first thing I did, I'd been there, I think 3 days, and I was on a job with Brian Spear, actually, and they had a pool heater that wasn't firing. And he was like, he looked at it and goes, well, we're going to have to wait, until one of my other coworkers can get here, to look at this, because at that point they were all kind of specialized and each did individual things. And I'm like, I'm over there sweeping the floor, and he's like, well, it's going to be like a week and a half or 2 weeks before this other guy can get here. And I'm like, I went over to him and said, well, do you mind if I look at it? And he's like, well, do you think you can fix a pool heater? I'm like, I'm willing to give it a shot. I mean, you got the book there. So he went outside and come back in, and I was back sweeping the floor, and he's like, well, aren't you going to look at it? I said, well, I'm done. It's up and running, And he was like, huh? And I was like, yeah, I used what I knew about electronics and the error code that was given on the screen, was able to fix it. And yeah, so that felt pretty good, because after that, he was kind of like, all right, you're good. I'm like, whew, that just took a lot of pressure off my shoulders, because I was like, all right, if the boss says I'm good, then I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely. Many years ago, I actually had a job as a cable monkey. I was just pulling wires and putting in cables and stuff like that. And there was this fellow from Texas, and I was stressing about some sort of hookup, and he said, Brad, a wire is a wire. And I always remembered that, because it's a wire. It goes from one place to another place, and there's some sort of connector at each end. And that's, if the wire's connected, 95% of what you do is done.
Right.
It's just now it's our, do we have to do any programming after that? But a wire is a wire.
Yeah.
And you got to learn that too.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now you're with Spear, and you guys are located where?
We're in a little town in Indiana called Roachdale, Indiana.
Okay.
I think it's got a population of 1,000 people.
Okay. And how many stoplights?
There is one blinking.
There is one. Okay. All right. There's
Blinking.
one blinker. Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
So, I grew up in a small town in Oklahoma, so this is actually bigger than the town I grew up in. and we had one blinking stoplight. So yeah, when I hear those country songs about the 2 grocery stores and 1 blinking stoplight,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's my whole
Yep.
life, man.
Yep, that's all sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
it does. Yeah.
So you're up at the factory. You and the folks are up at the. You and the guys are up at the factory doing some training here. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes.
How's that going? How was the trainer? Was
going
didn't he know what he was doing?
Very good. Yeah, the
Train-
trainer was very knowledgeable.
Trainer,
Very
knowledgeable. That's
knowledgeable.
good.
Yeah, he was
That's
good.
Good. Glad to hear that. That's the sort of thing we like to hear. I'll see if we can get that guy a raise. 'Cause, we like him.
He deserves one. Yes.
For those of you that haven't guessed, yes, I'm the trainer. I taught the class this morning, and another one tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll go over the commercial stuff and probably lean into some stuff that's closer to what you guys are actually wanting to work on.
Nice, nice. That'd be good. No, it's been a nice trip. The area is real nice. The people have been more than hospitable. It's been great.
All right. Well, good to hear that. Glad to know that. So you came out from Indiana. We're in, for those of we're here in Oxnard, California. That's a long trip for training. It sounds like you guys got some dedication to Raypak equipment. Tell me about that.
We do. We like I said, we do commercials, so we're looking for reliable, heavy-duty heaters that hold up to the test of time with a good reputation of their own, because we pride ourselves in our reputation.
Sure.
Like I said, Spear Corporation, we have a good name in the aquatics industry. We do the Olympic trials and things. I mean, we're one of the top companies when it comes to pools, and we like the equipment that we tie our name to be that way also, and that's where Raypak comes in.
Yeah.
The training, we like to represent the equipment that we put out as well, so we like to have our techs factory trained by knowledgeable people.
Right.
And that's why it's worth the investment to us to fly out to Oxnard to your training facility, which is, by the way, a very gorgeous, well set up training facility. It's very nice. But yeah, it's, quality. To be quality, you represent yourself with quality.
Yeah, that makes perfectly good sense. And you're only as good as the product you sell.
Exactly.
And although I was never in the commercial side, I was keenly aware of that. That my customers don't know Raypak. You know Raypak. They know you.
Right.
And they don't come to you and say, "Oh, darn these manufacturers." They say, "What's wrong with you for selling me this thing?"
Yeah. Yeah. We don't get our rep by having 20 callbacks on a piece of equipment because it's not running right.
Yep.
So it's got to be quality all the way around.
Well, we're very happy to be able to provide that. Absolutely. We're going to go ahead and then let me give you a parting shot here. You guys are in various, I was talking to some of the fellows, you guys are in various places in Indiana. You represent some places throughout the state and in fact up into Illinois, as I understand it. And this is commercial stuff. So, I'm sure if any of you watching need some help with commercial equipment in that area, I'm sure the folks at Spear would be happy to help you out. Am I wrong?
Yes, sir. No.
Okay.
Give us
Good
a
to
call.
know. Happy to know it. All right. Well, that's all we got. We're glad you were able to stop by and talk to us. This is Pool Time Podcast. We're happy to talk to you. You stay classy, San Diego.